Fat Sharif. I'm from London and I am a photographer and a creative director for a trend forecasting company.
I'm Chey. I'm a student.
What makes London street style really colourful is that there's a lot of people who aren't afraid to express themselves, and I think that a lot of people struggle to stand out in a huge space of creativity. I think London really gives people a confidence to be expressive. My father was born in Brooklyn in the 30s, grew up in the 40s and 50s, and he was in a gang called the Mariners, and he had tells me about his jacket that was purple satin with white stripes and had the, so that's always ingrained, you just look at it. I'm looking at so much of the inspiration, if you like, around you, visually, graphically. You're almost challenged to mix that together and bring your own little flavour out. At school I went through so many carnations. You started off as this kid who walks into secondary school. One minute you're a soul boy, next minute in my teen years I was a mod, and then suddenly all this new romantic 80s stuff came along, and I think that was probably my first moment where I thought, you know what, forget it, I'm going to take that step and I'm going to go for it. And I came into school one day with this outfit where everybody just was half my friends thought I was a faggot overnight, which is, fair enough, but it's just because I started wearing really eccentric clothes, and I think once or twice I was caught with eyeliner, but my parents were in clothing, so you're always surrounded by this expression. It would be a preppy mafia b-boy. That's the kind of way I pitch myself. In the world that I'm in, and where I play online and talk about stuff, I've noticed, and I'm not saying that it's me, but I've noticed people starting to look this way, wearing a tie with it. And maybe it's me, or maybe it's Andre 3000, I don't know, but between the two of us and a couple of others, we're smartening up the game. I saw my first pair of Dunks were in late 80s, they were my wife's. She'd come back from New York with them, and there were these black and white old school basketball shoe, which I thought were just amazing. My first purchase of a Dunk was I think it was just red and white. A simple classic red and white. There's something about the classics, the old school thing that you just can't go wrong with. And that's why I just love that shoe. And the fact that it came from a time no air, no this, no that. It was just something that your sheer talent put you on that court, all right, if part of that history rubs off on me while I'm wearing my suit and my Dunks, cool, I'm happy with it.
They were Nike IDs. They were yellow, blue and red. And I remember wearing them to school the first day, and everyone started calling me rainbow shoes. When you were playing football, you were like, rainbow shoes over here! I like the idea of a really bright colour and a really dark colour, or mixture of every colour.
I do take risks with colour. I may not mix colours that would necessarily go with other people, but then I'm bold enough to take that statement and say, yeah, I'm going to wear that. I did it. I have to have colour every day. There's got to be something, and we live in such a hard grey world that you need a bit of brightness. And it's something that's always stuck with me.
Depends if I'm in a bad mood, I usually like black and stuff, which is normally, but sometimes I like yellow and stuff, like orange.
Being true to your school, just being honest with yourself, and don't be pushed into anything that is not what you're about, and I think being true to your school is also sort of a bit self-reflective. You make sure you really know who you are before you step out and be that person as well. So it's more about honesty to yourself and being confident.